Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shra Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namane Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaye Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Jwala Premadhyay Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigraya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvandharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sachat Vairagya Murtaye Madam Bujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavadayate Gaura Virbhav Bhume Swam Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushi Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavatar Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Jayatam Surato Bhango Mama Manda Matergati Radha Madan Mohanam Divya Drindaranya Kalpurvada Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastau Srimad Radha Srila Govindevo Krishnaniki Sevimanam Smarami Srimad Rasarasarambi Vamshi Vatattakastitham Karshan Venu Smale Gopi Gopinata Shri Estuna Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. So we are discussing a very nice chapter today, two chapters in fact. These are chapters 21 and 22. 22 is the lamentation of Devahuti, and 21 chapter is the description of the marriage of Devahuti and KardamaMuni. So I've titled it as Responsibility Before Renunciation. So before KardamaMuni could take renunciation, what all did he do? How did that transpire? And how was the life of KardamaMuni and Devahuti? How was the life of Swayambhu Manu, the father of Devahuti? All those things are very nicely described in these two chapters. And although they are describing something which happened a long, long time ago, and none of us here are either kings or daughters of kings or sages, but still it is very applicable to each and every one of us. There's a lot of inspiration that can be gotten from every chapter of Bhagavatam, and these two chapters are no exception. So last time, if you remember, we discussed the conversation between who? हाँ वो तो मैत्रेय मुनि एंड विदुर का ही है पूरा कॉन्वर्जेशन बट विद इन दैट whose conversation did we discuss two conversations that she's not there हाँ वो अमीश टबू डालने हैं वो डाला डाला ग्रुप पे did you all read that summary you still don't remember from the Lord. So the conversation between the Lord and KardamaMuni. So KardamaMuni is meditating, and what service had he got? Uh, from who is Brahma in relation to him? His father. His father gave him that instruction. Please populate the universe with like-minded souls. Means people like you. And for that, just like Dhruva, when he wanted something great, he prayed to the Lord. Although his praying was in a different mood, Kardama Muni was actually praying in a devotional mood, meditating on the Lord, and the Lord appeared in front of him. And there was a conversation in which the Lord told Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni actually told the Lord that people who are asking for material benedictions are very unfortunate. If you remember, we discussed that shlok then, where Dhruv Maharaj says, Kacham vichinvan api divya ratnam. And I was asking for broken pieces of glass. Swamin krithatosmi vayam na yache. I have no other desire. What was my desire? Sthana bilashi. I wanted this kingdom greater than my great grandfather. I am such a fool that I asked for these things. So Kardama Muni is praying like that. And after that prayer, he then asks that please bless me with a good wife. So Prabhupada explains that this is not a material desire because he's been told to do this service. For that service, he requires a wife. So that was there. And then the Lord tells him that I'm very pleased with you. Very soon, Swayambhu Manu will come. He's looking for a suitable daughter, a suitable husband for his beautiful daughter. He will come and he will hand over his daughter to you. You please accept. And then the chapter ends with Swayambhu Manu actually coming to Kardama Muni. And then Kardama Muni glorifying Manu. Although Kardamba was a Brahmana and Manu was a Kshatriya, but he knew who this Manu is. Swayambhu Manu. How many Manus are there? In one day of Brahma, 14. 14. So, important personality. Considering the day of Brahma. Very important personality. So, he offered his respects. And then, this chapter starts with this description where Kardama Muni, his wife, Shatarupa, and their daughter, Devahuti, are standing there. And, Swayambhu Manu, Shatarupa, and his daughter are standing. And Kardama Muni is there waiting. After he's greeted him, he's waiting to receive him. And then Manu starts to speak. Okay, so this is the fifth verse where after Kardama Muni instructs Manu on the duties of a Brahmana, duties of a Kshatriya, while he's welcoming him and offering him respects, he also gives words of instructions because that's what a Brahmana is supposed to do. Brahmana is supposed to give instructions to kings, to Kshatriyas. So he does that and then Manu speaks. So we will start with the fifth verse of this chapter. This is Swayambhu Manu speaking to Maitreya, Vidur, Kardama. If you don't know anything, you should just say the conversation between Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. सेफ आंसर वो तो हर श्लोक में एप्लीकेबल है आफ्टर फर्स्ट कैंटो. फर्स्ट कैंटो we should say Suta Goswami and sages. तव संदर्शनादेव छिन्ना मे सर्व संशया यत् स्वयं भगवान् प्रीत्या धर्मम् आहरिरक्षिणो शिशो धर्मम् आहरिरक्षिसो. Now I have resolved all my doubts simply by meeting you. For your lordship has very kindly and clearly explained the duty of a king who desires to protect his subjects. So he is very thankful for the little bit of association, just few moments of association that he has got with uh, KardamaMuni. Manu is expressing his gratitude and he's understanding the value of that association. Srila Prabhupada writes a brilliant purport to this verse. We will read some portions of that. Prabhupada says, Lord Chaitanya says that one should always try to associate, please read carefully. Lord Chaitanya says that one should always try to associate with saintly persons because if one establishes a proper association with a saintly person, even for a moment, one attains all perfection. Now just think about this line that all perfection, all perfection. That means, what does all perfection mean? Love of God. Love of God. Achieving our relationship with Krishna and being fully Krishna conscious, pure devotee. Love of Krishna is achieved. Simply by association of devotees, this is possible. This is possible just by association of devotees. Therefore, association of devotees is so important. We will do an exercise later today, which will be some open heart surgery on this topic. So please read carefully, or hear rather. Somehow or other, if one meets a saintly person and achieves his favor, then the entire mission of one's human life is fulfilled. In our personal, Prabhupada writing, in our personal experience, we had actual proof of this statement of Manu. Once we had the opportunity to meet Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and on first sight he requested this humble self to preach his message in the Western countries. There was no preparation for this, but somehow or other he desired it. And by his grace, we are now engaged in executing his order, which has given us a transcendental occupation and has saved and liberated us from the occupation of material activities. That's a very heavy statement. It's power packed that by his grace, Prabhupada is saying, I am now engaged in executing his order, and because of that service, what have I been given? A transcendental occupation, and I have been saved from otherwise engaging. Because a person has to do something in life. So if you're not serving the Lord, you'll have to do something with your time. Something else will have to be done. So Prabhupada is saying, I got saved from doing other things because this instruction of Guru was there. It implies that I wanted to follow the instruction of Guru, I worked hard to follow it, and all perfection came. Thus, it is actually a fact that if one meets a saintly person completely engaged in transcendental duties and achieves his favor, then one's life mission becomes complete. What is not possible to achieve in thousands of lives can be achieved in one moment if there is an opportunity to meet a saintly person. It is therefore enjoined in Vedic literature that one should always try to associate with saintly persons and try to disassociate oneself from the common man. Because by one word of a saintly person, one can be liberated from material entanglement. A saintly person has the power, because of his spiritual advancement, to give immediate liberation to the conditioned soul. So, Manu is expressing these feelings towards KardamaMuni, and writing about that, Prabhupada is remembering the mercy he got from his Guru. So, therefore, this is very much active even now. What Manu got in Satyug, Prabhupada got 50, 100, almost, yeah, more than 100 years back, right? 1921, 104 years back, we can get today. moments association with a devotee. And we all have that in our life. We have all been beneficiaries of this multiple times and continue to be beneficiaries of this. The association of devotees and the association of some exalted personalities also in life. You've got the association of Srila Prabhupada. You've got the association of such wonderful disciples of Prabhupada and senior devotees. So basically, the Lord has equipped us with everything we need to achieve perfection. Now it is up to us how much we value this association. Prabhupada valued it very, very dearly. Prabhupada said that the instructions of the spiritual master can be delayed, but they cannot be denied. So, what instruction Prabhupada got in 1922 fructified fully in 1965, but the preparation for that completely started from day one. And it was manifesting more and more when Prabhupada took Vanaprastha in 1950. It was manifesting more and more at that time. But from 1922 to 1950, it does not mean Prabhupada did not do anything. From that time onwards, it started. So for all of us, we have to remember this. We in our prayers we may be praying, please give me your mercy, give me your mercy. But actually, we've got lot of mercy already. Got lot of mercy already. We have to make the most of it, and we get more. So in this is a painting from Lilamrit. Prabhupada meeting Bhaktisiddhanta for the first time. So then again, KardamaMuni, Manu glorifies Kardama, gives gratitude to him, and gives gratitude to the Lord for arranging that meeting. And then he says, O great sage, graciously be pleased to listen to the prayer of my humble self, for my mind is troubled by affection for my daughter. My daughter is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapad. Who is Uttanapad? Whose son was Uttanapad? Dhruv Maharaj. Which canto does Uttanapad and Dhruv Maharaj story come? Fourth canto, next canto. My daughter is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapad. She is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character, and good qualities. The moment she heard from the sage Narad of your noble character, learning, beauty, beautiful appearance, youth, and other virtues, she fixed her mind upon you. O wise man, I heard that you were prepared to marry. Please accept her hand, which is being offered to you by me, since you have not taken a vow of perpetual celibacy. So, in a very cultured way, he is giving the proposal of his daughter's hand in marriage to KardamaMuni by first telling about her brothers, then telling about her qualities, and then telling about the fact that Narad already told her, and now she has fixed you in her mind. Srila Prabhupada, uh, he writes about this or even speaks about this several times in his lectures that in Vedic times, uh, marriage used to happen early, and unfortunately people misunderstand that. But the reason was so that before a girl reaches puberty, she in her mind she has this is my husband, and then that attachment develops, and the attachment becomes very strong, which is very good for a happy married life. So by telling uh, Devahuti about Kardama Muni, Narad Muni created that. Any other example from Shastra of somebody hearing about the glories and getting and fixing her mind that I want to marry this person? Rukmani Devi with Lord Krishna. So now Kardama Muni replies to this heartfelt proposal sent by Manu. The great sage replied, certainly I have a desire to marry, and your daughter has not yet married or given her word to anyone. Therefore, our marriage, according to Vedic system, can take place. If they were to know what happens today, they would be shocked. Saying your daughter has not given her word to anyone. What value does word have now? So, but you see how pure, what pure dealings were there in Vedic times. Then Kardama Muni says, who would not want to accept her hand in marriage? I remember there was this Gandharva Vishwavasu, Kardama Muni is saying, who from his flying airplane just saw your daughter and he got so captivated by her beauty that he fell from the airplane. He's Kardama Muni is telling this to Manu that these are this is the beauty of your daughter, so why will I not agree? So he says, what wise man would not welcome her, the very ornament of womanhood, the beloved daughter of Swayambhu Manu and the sister of Uttanapad. Those who have not worshipped the gracious feet of the goddess of fortune cannot even perceive her. Yet she has come of her own accord, according to my own accord to seek my hand. And then he gives a condition. He said, I will marry her, I will accept her, I will marry her. But as soon as there is a child, I will leave. I will take sannyas. So is it okay? Her reply was a smile. So it is described that she smiled and Manu heard that. So Manu wanted confirmation. So he looked at his daughter. She was smiling. He looked at his wife. She looked pleased. So then Manu uh, addressed KardamaMuni. But after speaking this and after creating his ticket for Vanaprastha by saying, I will marry. And now, why does he want to marry? That's, that's the instruction of Brahma. So the instruction is to have a child. So he's saying, I will have a child, but then what is more important for me? My meditation, my devotion to the Lord, and I want to do that like how I'm doing right now. So for a brief period, I will enter Grihastha ashram. This is Varnashram. Brahmachari, Grihastha, then Vanaprastha. Now there is only one ashram, which is Grihastha. And it's not even proper Grihastha, it's Griham Nobody is Brahmachari. From the time a person is not capable of being Brahmachari, they are not Brahmachari. Till then, the body only doesn't support. So by default, people are celibate. As soon as the body, people get aware of it, most people, they're no longer celibate. And then there is no Vanaprastha. People die as Griham and that's it. So Kardama Muni wanted to make it clear so that there are no fights later on. You go time pe to, you promised all these things, and it's better to under promise and over deliver than what happens in Kali Yuga, where there is over promise and under delivering. So after saying this, and after saying that after one child I will take sannyas, Maitreya Muni describes what happens to next. O great warrior Vidur, the sage Kardamba said this much only and then became silent, thinking of his worshipful Lord Vishnu, who has a lotus on his navel. As he silently smiled, his face captured the mind of Devahuti, who began to meditate upon the great sage. So, a very beautiful soon to be wife is there. The emperor of the universe. Manu is who? Emperor of the universe. He's there. His wife is there. The emperor of the universe is offering his daughter in marriage to Kardama Muni. So basically, Kardama Muni is the damad of the emperor of the universe. The possibilities are endless. No? The material possibilities are endless. Where I am, with one dhoti in the forest, and now I am going to be the, husband of the daughter of the emperor of the, not of one country, of the universe, the whole universe. The possibilities are endless. हमको थोड़ा कुछ कभी we get some slight gain in material life or scope of gain. I don't know about you, but my mind will run 10 steps ahead in that direction. This can happen, then this can happen, then this can happen, then this can happen. And here is Kardama Muni who's got this, and he just very casually says that this is my offer, and then is not, तो बताओ क्या हुआ? मंजूर है ना आपको? He says this, And chup chap silently, what does he do? Starts to think of Lord Vishnu again. That's why these personalities are mentioned in Bhagavatam. So these are things that we should hope to achieve. Or when these don't happen to us, then that's sort of like a measuring yardstick, that where am I and where does the Bhagavatam expect me to be. So he instantly, after speaking this, starts to, it shows what is more important to him. He's not at all allured by this emperor of the universe, Kadamad, thinking of Lord Vishnu. All of you took darshan today? Do you remember Radha Rasbihari? Acha, batao. Blue dress? Actually, that is very easy because every Saturday Lord wears black. So let's go more into what is there in the black. Okay, don't answer. You all think. Try to remember. Nobody answer loudly. Try to remember what darshan you took. आपको तो किसी ने ऐसा रिश्ता भी नहीं दिया था उसके पहले, ऐसा कुछ खास हुआ नहीं था और हम दर्शन लेने गए थे, तो ब्लैक में क्या था, हेलमेट में क्या था, वो रोज ये पीकॉक फेदर था नहीं, कभी कभी नहीं भी होता है, पुजारी भूल जाते हैं whether it was there. What do we remember of today's darshan? Here Devahuti looking at KardamaMuni is captivated by him. So were we also captivated by something else that was going on? Or were we taking darshan of Radha Rasbihari nicely? Okay, this is the darshan that we took. Some of you would remember some aspects of this darshan. Peacock feather in the center of the helmet, the skirt. Today Rasbihari is wearing a skirt instead of a dhoti. See that? That's the skirt. After this, there is the description of Manu. So now what has happened? He's offered his daughter's hand in marriage. Now he is a Vedic father. So he has natural affection. Every father will have natural affection, for, especially Prabhupada writes, for the daughters. Fathers have more affection for the daughters. So he's having this affection, and now that is described. This is the best artificial intelligence can do. We are waiting for it to improve. So now they will show Swayambhu Manu like this. Next canto they will show Uttanapad also in the same way. And you have to just think, ये Uttanapad है और वो पीछे ध्रुव खड़ा है और उत्तम खड़ा है. So then Manu lovingly, it is described, gives all these gifts, and his wife Shatarupa is giving all these household articles and jewels and ornaments and silks and all these things to Devahuti. And then when he realizes that now my daughter is going to be married, so then feelings of separation overcome him. And it is described, Manu is weeping, shedding tears for his daughter. And Prabhupada writes in the purport there that the responsibility of every father is to ensure that he gets his daughter married to a suitable person. Till then, the father's responsibility does not end. Prabhupada writes. And as soon as the father can do that, then father's responsibility is fulfilled towards his daughter. So that's what Manu does. And then it is described that Manu and his wife go. He doesn't stay longer. He goes. And then it is described, now you will think emperor of the universe. So kaisa hoga? So Bhagavatam describes in detail the kingdom of Manu and Manu's rule. Manu's kingdom was called Barhismati. And it was called Barhismati because once when Lord Varaha, when he was on his way to kill Hiranyaksha or to fight with Hiranyaksha, which we read in detail from Bhagavatam, one hair from his body fell in this place. And therefore it's called Barhismati. And then Kusha grass grew from that, and that Kushagra's the sages used to perform sacrifice. So Manu was not an ordinary king. If you see Manu's lifespan, Brahma's day is divided into 14, 14 Manus. So that if you divide that by 14, that is 71 cycles of 4 yugas. If you're good at maths, 43 lakh something into 71. That's the lifespan of Manu. Just to save everyone the trouble, it is 30 crore years. Manu lived for 30 crore years. And throughout that time, his kingdom was flourishing. People were happy because Manu was a Krishna conscious king. So in the Bhagavatam, it is described in few verses what Manu would do. To describe that, when Manu would, at night, these musicians would come with Shenai and they would sing glories of the Lord. And Manu would, hearing that, go to sleep. And then again in the morning, the musicians will again start with the Shenai, singing glories of the Lord. And hearing that, Manu would get up. And then throughout the day, along with performing his responsibilities, it is actually written there that hearing and chanting about the Lord was always going on. And that is why the Bhagavatam describes that Manu did not wither away as he aged. Like, what happens when we age in terms of our abilities? They reduce. That's just natural, right? The body is no longer able to do the things. Like Burijan Prabhu used to say that. Uh, I remember the time where I could run, and it's just yesterday, and now I'm barely able to walk. So, कोविड के जस्ट पहले एक बहुत फेमस टी शर्ट हो गया था, अपना टाइम भी आएगा. Everyone used to wear that. अपना टाइम भी आएगा. So in this also अपना टाइम भी आएगा. And in one of the purports, Prabhupada in detail describes the trouble of old age. And therefore he says that we should, taking the example of Manu, take our Krishna consciousness very, very seriously, no matter how important responsibility we have. Manu was the emperor of the universe. Chalo, you can say KardamaMuni भक्त थे, चलो क्या है, वो तो जंगल में बैठे हैं. Although even that is not easy. If you are told tomorrow, कल आपका सारा responsibility कोई और कर लेगा, कुछ काम नहीं करना है, ये लो माला, ये लो भागवतम, बैठो सुबह से रात तक माला और भागवतम के साथ बैठो, खाना भी आपको गोविंदास का दे देंगे, 3 बार आएगा आपके प्रेफरेंस के हिसाब से, स्पाइसी चाहिए तो स्पाइसी, नॉन स्पाइसी, जो चाहिए वो मिलेगा आपको. And just in an AC room you sit, here is Japmala, here is Bhagavatam. Maybe an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And पहले वो phone दे देना यहाँ पे. नहीं होगा. So even that is difficult. But here is Manu, who is the emperor of the universe. Very, very responsible person. And he has ensured that his daily life is structured in such a way that there is sufficient Shravan and Kirtan going on. So Srila Prabhupada writes, the life of a man in Krishna consciousness is always fresh. It is said that the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening, and its business is to reduce the duration of everyone's life. But the sunrise and sunset cannot diminish the life of one who engages in Krishna consciousness. Swambhu Manu's life did not become stale after some time, for he engaged himself always in chanting about and meditating upon Lord Vishnu. He was the greatest yogi because he never wasted his time. When he talked only of Krishna and Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. When he heard something, it was about Krishna. When he meditated, it was upon Krishna and his activities. So, if the emperor of the universe can do this, all of us can do. We just have to use our intelligence and figure out how, at regular intervals on a normal day, like day after tomorrow, on Monday, at during the day, how at regular intervals I can be more conscious of Krishna, I can have more Shravan Kirtan going on, and if that is done every day, automatically I will be more Krishna conscious. This is just very, very simple, practical thing to do. So then this chapter concludes, and the next chapter starts with what happens after Manu and his wife depart. What happens between Devahuti and KardamaMuni? Muni continued. After the departure of her parents, the chaste woman Devahuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served him constantly with great love, as Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, serves her husband. Srila Prabhupada writes in that purport that the comparison of Bhavani, goddess Parvati, is very significant here because she also belonged to a great opulent parentage. And Lord Shiva was a hermit. And here is Devahuti also, daughter of the emperor of the universe. No shortage of anything. And who's Kardamba? A sage in the forest, having no uh, proper place to live or anything. But just like God, Mother Parvati served Lord Shiva, not having any ahankar. मेरे पिताजी के पास ये है, मेरे पिताजी के पास. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. It is fanned by the things we watch on TV. It is fanned by the association we keep of other people who would do that. And then it becomes very difficult for that kind of a marriage to go anywhere. So Devahuti is showing the example that even if you have so much, now the responsibility is that she has to serve her husband and come at his level. Mataji, maybe you can. Yeah, thank you. Srila Prabhupada also gives the example of Gandhari, of how she brought herself to the level of Dhritarashtra because she didn't want to feel superior to him. O Vidur, Devahuti served her husband with intimacy and great respect, with control of senses, with love and with sweet words. Working sanely and diligently, she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activity, and vanity. So the humble service of Devahuti is described. The daughter of Manu, who was fully devoted to her husband, looked upon him as greater even than Providence. Thus, she expected great blessings from him. Having served him for a long time, she grew weak and emaciated due to her religious observances. Seeing her condition, Kardamba, the foremost celestial sages, was overcome with compassion and spoke to her in a voice choked with great love. KardamaMuni said, O respectful daughter of Swayambhu Manu, today I am very much pleased with you for your loving great devotion and most excellent loving service. Since the body is so dear to the embodied beings, I am astonished that you have neglected your own body to use it on my behalf. So the humble service of his wife greatly pleased him. Although as soon as they got married, he again went on with his meditation on Lord Vishnu. And she patiently waited and served him. And a lot of time passed by. So then when he opened his eyes, he saw that, oh, you have become so weak. You have not taken care of yourself because you're just serving me. So natural love from his heart came. Natural love. If you are interested in this section, there are three purports in which Srila Prabhupada gives the duty of a woman and of a man in marriage. So what should a wife uh, have? What should a wife's duties be? And how should the husband conduct himself so that the wife would be inspired to serve him? So there are three, four purports. Prabhupada at length describes these verses. You can read. Now, if you compare this, Devahuti also wants a child. If you compare this, her way, to this, who are these two? Diti and Kashyapuni. Diti also served her husband. Devahuti also served her husband. Diti also wanted a child. Devahuti also wanted a child. But Diti approached it with keeping her desires first. Whereas Devahuti patiently kept serving her husband. And the results were Supreme Personality of Godhead came here and the greatest demons came here. Maitreya continued, O Vidur, seeking to please his beloved wife, the sage Kardamba exercised his yogic power and instantly produced an aerial mansion that could travel at his will. Now, there's a description of this aerial mansion. If any of you think your home is very nice, you hear this now. Or if any of you think that some place in the world is very nice, then let's listen to this. Aerial mansion he creates out of love for his wife. Now, he's a yogi, he can do anything. Prabhupada writes in one purport, someone may argue, ये कैसे हो सकता है? Aerial mansion. अभी वो बेचारे इंडिगो वाले प्लेन भी हवा में नहीं रख पा रहे हैं. They are struggling, so much inconvenience everyone is having with a, cramped up plane in which just can't wait when it will land and we can get out. And here is an aerial mansion. So Prabhupada writes, why is it astonishing? He's a great devotee of the Lord. What is difficult for the Lord? So if the Lord gives blessings, anything is possible. It was a wonderful structure, bedecked with all sorts of jewels, adorned with pillars of precious stones, and capable of yielding whatever one desired. It was equipped with every form of furniture and wealth, which tended to increase in course of time. The airplane, castle, was equipped with all necessary paraphernalia, and it was pleasing in all seasons. It was decorated all around with flags, festoons, and artistic work of variegated colors. It was further embellished with wreaths of charming flowers that attracted sweetly humming bees, and with tapestries of linen, silk, and various other fabrics. No plastic. The palace looked charming with beds, couches, fans, and seats, all separately arranged in 7 stories. Floating airplane. Its beauty was enhanced by artistic engravings here and there on the walls. यहाँ baat The floor was of emerald with coral dices. The palace was very beautiful with its coral thresholds at the entrances and its doors bedecked with diamonds. Gold pinnacles crowned its domes of sapphire. As if it was not enough that a dome hai, the dome was sapphire, and even if still it's not opulence enough, it had gold on top. हम लोग gold paint मारते हैं. With the choicest rubies set in its diamond walls, it appears as though possessed of eyes. It was furnished with wonderful canopies and greatly valuable gates of gold. Here and there in that palace were multitudes of live swans and pigeons as well as artificial swans and pigeons, so that so lifelike that the real swans rose above them again and again, thinking them live birds like themselves. Thus the palace vibrated with the sounds of these birds. Our homes vibrate with honks of traffic. Or if you live close to a shop, then Paytm Pay 430 rupees. The castle had pleasure grounds, resting chambers, bedrooms, and inner and outer yards, designed with an eye to comfort. All this caused astonishment to the sage himself. वही खुद सोच रहा है ये क्या हो गया, क्या बन गया. Now you can just think. Devahuti is not a normal woman. A normal woman would see all this. What would happen? You all are normal women, right? Don't act as if nobody's answering, thinking. But अंदर चल रहा है यार, you would go in, you would sit, you're so happy. Everyone is क्या माला लेके जाएंगे अंदर, भागवतम पढ़ेंगे. But Devahuti is not a normal woman. Just like KardamaMuni, when he heard that मेरा ससुर emperor of universe है, immediately next moment he is again went back to meditating on Vishnu. So Devahuti is looking at this, and then she's looking at herself, and she's thinking, "Look at me, how I can go inside there, and what is my qualification?" She's the daughter of the emperor of the universe. So KardamaMuni immediately realized that in her heart she desires a child, but she knows because she has served me for all these years, and this is what has happened to her. She's feeling ashamed that how I can enter. So knowing that, he shows her that see, there is Bindu Sarovar, and why don't you go and take a dip in Bindu Sarovar? Follows her husband. She goes, takes a dip in Bindu Sarovar. When she takes a dip, she finds 10 maid servants inside with folded hands welcoming her. And then they start creating all this magic on her, and she gets transformed. All her old beauty is back. All her, that her beautiful looks, her youth, her radiance, everything is back. And now she's wearing all these silk cloth and gold and emeralds and all these things. And then they bring her out as this wonderful, like how she was earlier, uh, when she was with her father, but even more opulent. And then it is described that Devahuti and KardamaMuni entered, and then for many years they enjoyed celestial pleasures, going from to all various parts of the universe, all the great parts of the universe, and they, as if they were an ordinary couple, they engaged in sense pleasure. And then, like this, lot of time passed by. Like 10 verses describe this. And then finally, the airplane lands back to that hermitage, and Devahuti and KardamaMuni come out, and then KardamaMuni fulfills his promise. And he impregnates Devahuti with 9 daughters. It is said that on the day she became pregnant, on that day she delivered all 9 children, 9 daughters. And as soon as that happened, she saw. You should read, these. It's very nice. The description that she saw her husband getting ready to leave, and outwardly, now because she's this wonderful, chaste, devoted wife, outwardly she's not showing any displeasure, but inside she is feeling, oh, he's leaving. And then she offers a prayer to KardamaMuni in the 51st verse of this chapter. Devahuti uvacha sarvam tad bhagavan mayam upovaha pratishrutam अथापि मे प्रपन्नाय अभयम दातुमर्हसि. Shri Devahuti said, "My Lord, you have fulfilled. You want to sit, you can sit. It's okay. My Lord, you have fulfilled all the promises you gave me, yet because I am your surrendered soul, you should give me fearlessness too." She's saying, all that is okay. But see, they are daughters. They will one day be married. They will also leave. Again, I'll be alone. Who will take care of me? So please award me fearlessness, that uh, I can also then serve the Lord. I will not have any fear of how I can be taken care of. She prays like this, and then she brings up a very important point, which ties up with what we started, which was regarding how is association utilized. This is, you imagine, just you think, this personality is born as the daughter of the emperor, born with a silver spoon, but very cultured and very devotional, and then is married to this great sage, and she selflessly serves him for many years, neglecting her body completely, and then pleases him, and then many years they live a life of enjoyment. And her husband is this great sage. And her desire was what? Child. And so he gave her. And now that he's about to leave, you can just think that what ek to she's saying fearlessness. Now she now she tells something which is applicable to each and every one of us. And it should not be that we figure it out if it's when it's too late. Like in her case, now he's about to leave. And now she's figuring it out. She's introspecting, and this is what Devahuti speaks. This is the final verse of this chapter, chapter 23. Saham Bhagavato Nunam Vanchita Maya Dridam Tattvam Vimuktidam Prapya Namumukseya Bandhanat. My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by insurmountable energy, illusion, by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. She's saying, my Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated, greatly cheated, thoroughly cheated, solidly cheated by the insurmountable energy, illusory energy of Maya. I've been cheated by Maya, the illusory energy of the Lord. For in spite of having obtained your association, this great sage, whose association awards liberation, perfection of life, I did not seek it only. I was not seeking it. I was thinking of child, of enjoyment. So this is her realization. Great personalities. This is her realization. And Srila Prabhupada writes one aspect of the purport. An intelligent man should utilize good opportunities. The first opportunity is the human form of life. And the second opportunity is to take birth in a suitable family where there is cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is rarely obtained. The greatest opportunity is to have association of saintly persons. Devahuti was conscious that she was born as the daughter of an emperor. She was sufficiently educated and cultured. And at last, she got KardamaMuni, a saintly person and a great yogi, as her husband. Still, if she did not get liberation from the entanglement of material energy, then certainly she would have been cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy. We also fit in this. We all have had decent birth, decent upbringing. We all are educated. We all, by the Lord's mercy, came in association of devotees at a decent time of our life, not at the end. We all have association of devotees can be also of various types. We can be, associating once in 6 months. We have regular association. We all are able to come to the temple. We all are able to go for, holy yatras and get services and all these things. If in spite of all this, we are not able to progress, tangible progress, not just, ticking boxes. Mala ho gaya, done. Ho gaya, done. Done. Mayapur once done, Vrindavan once done, Puri once done, done, done. Not like that. But genuine, tangible, coming close to the Lord. Then, Prabhupada is saying, we have been cheated by the illusory energy because initially we were seeking and initially our guards were up. And then later on, some devotees get used to it. Now you remove your book. All of you brought books, notepad, pen. First listen what you have to do. Reflect on the meaningful associations Krishna has given you. Have you fully valued, utilized and honored them? Or have there been missed opportunities? A Apply the simple principles of directed free writing and write for about 5 minutes without stopping. Krishna has given us meaningful association. Have we fully valued, utilized, and honored them? Or have there been mixed opportunities? Please start writing without stopping for 5 minutes. Time starts. Don't stop writing. Whatever is coming in your mind, write. Keep writing. Let the pen think for you. But write on this. And you don't have to be idealistic. To be honest, no one is going to see what you're writing. You have to keep writing. Don't stop writing. Don't think. Just write. Because then what is actually there will come. When we think, then idealistic things will come. लिखते रहिए. This exercise is very useful if you follow it this time. You have to keep writing. Please don't peep into another person's book. Okay, 30 seconds. Start concluding. Okay, now you write a prayer to the Lord addressing this, whatever prayer you wish to, in this regard, and conclude it with that. Okay, please finish your sentence. Okay, pen down. Hare Krishna. So this is intended to make us realize that we may not have fully been appreciating the association that the Lord has given us through the devotees, but we should. So, like Devahuti realized, and then in the next chapter, it is shown how then KardamaMuni speaks to her, and then the Lord's bigger plan is there. But many times, it happens with many devotees that it's just too late. That they are not able to figure this out, and then there comes a stage of life where they are not getting that higher taste in Krishna consciousness, and spiritual life becomes very dry, and then they leave. Or they accept that ऐसा ही है spiritual life. वो कभी एंड में वो बल्ब जलेगा एंड कृष्ण प्रेम मिलेगा एंड दैट्स इट. Or they just get frustrated, then they start seeing all the faults, and then they leave. And then Prabhupada said, a person who has heard the philosophy and sufficiently will never be able to be happy in the material world, because you know too much. You know too much about the material world, and you're not getting any pleasure in devotional life also. So overall life becomes very frustrated. Sometimes then that devotee feels that it's better I would not have even become a devotee. So many people that happens. You know, if you see, every year so many devotees get initiated. Where are they? So lot of devotees, they after a while, after a few years, they go away. It is because we are not going beyond just the ritual of the spiritual life, 16 rounds, reading Prabhupada's books, and all, but actually making best use of it, feeling grateful for it, and therefore having the mood that these personalities are, that Prabhupada had, that my Guru gave me mercy, and my whole life just revolved around fulfilling the order of my spiritual master. Then those devotees, even if they have the lowest of lows in their lives, they are misunderstood, their body is going bad, their some bad negative karma is fructifying, they are steady in devotional life. So let us let us value, if we have not till now, or even if we have, we can always more value the association of devotees and the blessings that the Lord has given us in our life, and therefore make more tangible progress in our spiritual life. Hare Krishna. So to summarize, we discussed the conversation between KardamaMuni and Swayambhu Manu. We discussed the marriage of KardamaMuni and Devahuti, how it was done with so much culture. We discussed the glory of Manu's rule. What was the glory of Manu's rule? No matter, he was the emperor of the universe. He was such a important personality. He structured his life in such a way that there was ample opportunity to perform devotional service, and therefore, although he was aging, he was youthful. It's like His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Till the end, he was fully involved and fully engaged in all sorts of services. Srila Prabhupada, till the end, dictating his purports. So, no matter how busy, so the lesson we take is none of us are emperors or empresses. So, we don't have any excuse that आज पूरे दिन में कुछ भी मैंने डिवोशनल एक्टिविटी नहीं किया, दो चार माला किया. So many initial devotees I know, they don't chant 16 rounds. So you should have that thing every day, 16 good. What about 16 rounds, 16 good rounds? We'll try and do one good round now. And service, relationships with devotees, all those things nicely. Then we discussed about the service of Devahuti, service mood that pleased KardamaMuni, and then their life on the aerial mansion, and how, in spite of that, how when KardamaMuni got this wonderful proposal, he was not overwhelmed. He was thinking of Vishnu. How Devahuti, when she saw all this, she was not overwhelmed. And then the birth of their daughters, and then KardamaMuni's renunciation, which led to Devahuti's lamentation at her own missed opportunity. Srila Prabhupada ki. Any questions? Yes, Ashwini Prabhu.
Will you please guide us, guide me, how can we make best out of the association?
We all know what we have to do. We all know how to make the best of association. We just have to be mindful of it. We should be respectful of devotees. We should seek guidance. Sometimes we feel that we know everything, we don't need guidance. We seek guidance. We should be kind to the younger devotees and encourage them. If we cannot speak something good, better not to speak. But we should always encourage the younger devotees. We should be respectful and take guidance of the ones who are superior to us in devotional service, and just follow their guidance. Be grateful for this opportunity we have received. That's the making the best use of it. Always being keen to do more service. Always being keen to grow in our spiritual life. Feeling pinched when that's not happening. So this way we can make the most of the association. Never get into that plateau mode. ये तो हो रहा है ऐसे ही होगा. Otherwise, all devotees do is criticize. We're talking about devotees, we're not talking about karmis. All devotees do, if they are not having this mood, is they will just do prajalpa and criticize each other. And Vaishnava Aparadh is the first offense to the holy name. So that's a very vicious loop. Any other question? Yes, bro. Instead of, so again, the next chapter starts with there's a verse and Prabhupada writes, we should not think that Devahuti was enamored by material nature. This was the plan of the Lord. So for them, this was the plan of the Lord. But we can get into this trap. So we can't say what would Devahuti have done differently, because this was how the Lord wanted it to play out. To show that, although they had this, still he was not taking away all that. He was going. But she was not interested in all that, and she realized her mistake. So even if we have, better to realize that I should be doing much more with this wonderful gift that the Lord has given me. Not just association of devotees, even my sadhana, my service, such all of us, if we think, we all have got wonderful opportunities to make the most. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much for this actually is a guarantee on consciousness by devotees that is required for that to be remain on that at least on the path and being on the path to be come to which will come to Krishna as Prabhupada has given us a very important path. My question was regarding this when you talk about the glory of Manu that he was always conscious about God and then Narottam explains with that verse time where that doesn't happen to devotee. So my understanding on that verse was that when Lord speaks that Nihamit Ramanath speaks that will continue. And second, as you cleared that they always remain in the mood of serving Lord during this time. And I was understanding is that this human life is anyway is a blessed in eternity, and we will continue to be as a soul. And if we are constantly in the service of Lord in this human moment life, then this is actually glorious life for us. So if someone is that is the way to understand that, or there are some other aspect that we can understand it more deeper and how the more life.
If you see the first verse of Shikshastakam, महादावाग्नि निर्वापनम श्रेया कैरव चंद्रिका वितरणम विद्यावधु जीवनम आनंदम बुद्धिवर्धनम प्रतिपदम पूर्णामृत स्वादनम सर्वात्मना सर्पणम परम विजयते श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तनम. They say that this Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, this blazing forest fire is extinguished. But someone may think that I am chanting the holy name, and even if I am progressing, but the blazing fire of material existence is still very much there. So the Acharya is right, but this will be the last blazing fire. At the end of this life, the fire will be extinguished by Shreya Kairava Chandrika, by the moon of the mercy of the holy name. So the rising and with the rising and setting of the sun, person's life gets ayulahati by pumsam. Life is reduced. But for a devotee, it is not. What does that mean? That at the end of this life, there will be no more birth and death. We will still grow old, and we will leave this body one day. But if we perfect our life in this wonderful opportunity that we have got, there will be no more birth and death again. That way, the soul, which is eternal, will be on the platform of that, of eternity, of serving the Lord in that way. Hare Krishna. Okay, so now just to remind all of us that when we chant on three stages. One is the bodily stage. So we sit attentively and we sit as you want to call Rashmi Mataji and Nidhi, maybe you can take care of the children and give them an opportunity to chant nicely. And then on the level of the mind, to again and again think of the holy name